Hello, hello, hello. Angel here. Welcome to or back to my channel. Have you been here before? Welcome back. Are you new? Welcome to the space. Grab yourself a cuppa. You know what it's time for. It's time for October's favourites. Things that have been feeding my soul, filling my cup for the month of October. Should we get into it? I think we should. October for me was all about shadow work. It was all about my inner mausoleum. My inner mausoleum that needed to be shaken up, that needed to, I don't want to say come down, but I want to say rediscovered, opened up, aired, explored, I'm going to say. My inner mausoleums started to represent the things that I had been ignoring or had been avoiding. And my inner mausoleum was all about the things that I have gathered in this space that I'm almost holding on to that are not good for me anymore. This is another piece of artwork that I did. This is all about the ghosts that are haunting my mausoleum. So that's something I looked at a lot in October, the ghosts that are haunting these separate areas of my mausoleum. And I even created this artwork in October. This is all about my shadow, this shadow figure that I catch in my peripheral vision now and again, that I don't want to see, that I don't want to acknowledge again. It was all about, this shadow work for me this month was all about really acknowledging and looking at the things that I have been trying to avoid. So this figure was this artwork was created by two cards that I pulled. One was from the Soul Mirror Oracle and the other one was from the Black Violet Tarot. Now I've spoken about all three of these artworks in my October catch-up that I did quite recently. It was a two-part video because it was so long. But this is what I continued working with after I'd filmed that video. And I had a bit of an epiphany with this artwork. Originally, I assumed this was a mirror, actually, originally, with this in this card. But I had this epiphany when I was working with this artwork in October that this is almost more like a threshold or a doorway, like a liminal space that allows me to meet this figure and really work with this figure and find out what this figure is trying to tell me. So although I have done a lot of shadow work in October and it continues, I haven't felt that it hasn't been draining. I feel like I'm finally ready to, I'm going to use the word acknowledge again. I'm finally ready to acknowledge these things that I have definitely been avoiding. Last year I did a lot of shadow work with the Darkwood Tarot, and at the end of October I was like, oh my goodness me, I'm so depleted. I need some kind of I need to rest and re-energize myself and almost like go into a hermit mode so that I can kind of rejuvenate myself. But I don't feel that way this time. I feel like I'm I want to do it. I'm ready. I'm wherever this takes me, I'm in it to win it. So with that being said, let's talk about some of the decks that I use with this work. Let's talk about some other epiphanies that I had, and let's talk about the other things that I got to in October. So let's talk about the decks that have been rocking my world in October. We're starting with the Between the Worlds Oracle. This is a mass market deck, and this is a second-hand copy of the Deviant Moon Tarot. It was bordered, and I cut the borders off, edged it in black. This deck has not wanted to work with me at all. It's been like, yeah, unfortunately, I can't work with you. My schedule is too busy. I can't fit you in. I mean, this deck has just been basically sitting on my shelf. And then in October, it finally decided that, begrudgingly decided to, to work with me for the shadow work that I was doing. I'm going to say this deck is quite snarky. I don't know if you have this deck and if you know how you experience the deck, but for me, this deck is snarky is the perfect word. It's begrudgingly been helping me in October. Although it has had much more important things to do than deal with my inconsequential, puny human issues or shadow work, basically. That's totally the vibe I get from this deck. But these decks have been working so well together. I mentioned in that October catch-up that at the beginning of October I started feeling this dark. I wanted to kind of capture this dark Victorian Gothic aesthetic. I'd been chasing my rainbow, or not chasing my rainbow, but following my rainbow for the longest time. And it was almost like a switch had been flicked. At the beginning of October, I was like, and I need this dark aesthetic. And even in my wardrobe choices, it's all been like, I want to be a Victorian Gothic woman with like, velvet cloaks and long skirts and not cloaks, but you know what I'm saying, right? I think you get the meaning. I like this synchronicity. Anyway, so these two have been working really nicely. The decks that I chose at the beginning of October, I didn't specifically set them out for a specific practice. I just pulled out the decks. I was like, that one, 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 popped them all in my cart, and then intuitively went with what I felt in the moment in the reading. So these two just, happened to end up on my desk together, and they worked really, really nicely. It's still snarky. It's still begrudgingly helping me, although it does have much more important things to do. But, I'm going to say so far so good. Knock on wood. Let's move on to the next decks. So 3 other decks that made an appearance in October. That's the Tarot of Haunted House, Dancing in the Dark Tarot, and this is, I think it's called the Rose Lenormand, all mass market decks in any case. I've edged all of these decks in black. I've also lopped off the borders of this deck. This one was not on my radar at all, but when my inner mausoleum work started to appear in my practice in October, I got like an intuitive nudge, like, Dancing in the Dark Tarot. And the reason for that is, I think, because of my the darkness within my inner mausoleum, this kind of spoke to me of that. It's, all the cards have got this black background. It feels like everything is happening in the dark, hence the reason it's called Dancing in the Dark Tarot. And with all these all the architecture that's going on in this deck, and even actually somewhat in this deck, makes me feel like it's all based around my inner mausoleum. It kind of kept giving me that nudge to the inner mausoleum. Should I flip some cards here as well? I think I should. Yes, the Lenormand deck. I don't read Lenormand. This is the only Lenormand deck I have. I pulled this one out more for the aesthetic. Excuse me. I spoke about this Victorian Gothic aesthetic that I was like kind of feeling in October, and this kind of spoke to me of that. And I wanted this, sometimes I wanted a snappy, quick message. I didn't want to have a really long, in-depth guidebook message, and that kind of helped. Lenormand helped me with that, I felt. Yeah, what can I say? But I can say that, as mentioned, this really spoke to me of my inner mausoleum, as did this one actually. This, this figure dashing around this like haunted house. And as I mentioned, I was doing this work and I'm still doing the work actually with the ghosts that are haunting my mausoleum. So this really spoke to me of that basically. Yeah, and I think I mentioned that, when I was doing a reading, I just intuitively pulled forward decks. So these ones showed up a lot. The Lenormand has shown up a little bit later in October for me, but it's been pairing really nicely with these decks. What can I say more, really? I can't really say very much more. What I can say is that the Haunted House tarot gave me the epiphany of digging forward the bone, like unearthing the skeletons that are hiding in the walls of my mausoleum, and getting to the bones of the matter. I mentioned in that October catch up and I showed the little what's it called, the skeleton art witchery that I had done, and that's kind of oh, my mind's gonna blank. Sorry. It's kind of a focus for October going into November, that I'm getting to the bones of the matter. So there's quite a lot of skeletons on my and skulls on my desk and altar space to kind of oh my goodness me, Angel, my mind's gone a complete blank. To kind of hone in my energy and my focus to getting to the bones of the matter. Sorry, I had a total brain fog moment there. This is the card that kind of led me to my epiphany with the threshold and meeting this figure, and this liminal space, this doorway. So that's also what I've been working with in October, working within this liminal space. Yeah, I've been having a real journey with all three decks, and just FYI and a bit of a spoiler, these decks are going to be, appearing in November and possibly in December. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. We all shall see how long this or where this shadow work takes me. Let's get on to a deck that has totally been rocking my world. The Vampire Tarot, or Tarot V actually it's called, apologies. These are the backs. I've edge mined to look like, this deck, wait, let me just explain. This deck speaks to me of the inner mausoleum that I'm investigating or exploring. And I wanted the edges of the cards to look like, when, something has collapsed and you're looking through the dust and the rubble. That's what this feels like to me. It feels like the rubble that's been left over from the collapse. That was a long explanation for edging a deck, but that's just the way it was, and that's how I felt it happened. I'm kind of working with this fallen angel figure. I'm not going to go into that more in this video. I'll go into that possibly in a different video once I've kind of dug around more and I'm a bit clearer on where this is leading me. I saw this deck on Lindsay's channel, Silver Crow Tarot. I saw it. I was like, what is that deck? I need it in my life yesterday. Went online, ordered it, purchased it, got it home, loved it from the get-go. It's definitely a shadow work deck for me. Oh, wait, not a shadow work deck. More kind of, wait, let me flip some cards and try and explain. If you've been watching my channel for any amount of time, this is very interesting. I've been working with my red bonnet and my inner wolf. That was very interesting that card showed up right at this section, right at this moment, with this portal and this labyrinth behind it. Anywho, I've been working with that, those facets of self, and I was flipping the narrative on those, on that story. That, this red bonnet is not as innocent as they are making out, and the wolf is not the big bad wolf. And I kind of feel that way with this fallen angel and this shadow figure that I'm meeting in this liminal space. I don't feel it's so black and white as I initially experienced it to be. And so I do feel that, again, this is going to be about flipping the narrative and seeing this, I'm going to call this white, pure figure, I'm going to say, this innocent figure, painting this figure black. So I've been, it all sounds so woo-woo. It all sounds so woo-woo. But what can I say? It is woo-woo, isn't it? We're kind of doing this exploration, and, some strange things come about, but they resonate somewhere deep in the soul, don't they? Do you find that? There are just some messages that really resonate somewhere deep within you, and you're like, yes. And then when you try and voice it and you try and articulate it, you're like, no, I didn't get that over very well. But I kind of hope you see where I'm going with this. So this deck is a shadow work deck. However, it is all about flipping that narrative. I'm not looking at this shadow figure as a bad figure or as like this negative. And I'm not looking at this light, purer side, I want to say, as this innocent aspect of myself either. There's definitely this like switching of roles. I'm going to call it that. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still like, knee deep in this. So when I'm able to articulate it a little bit better, then I will, and hopefully I'll be able to do that more in my November catch-up video. But I hope you kind of see where this has been leading me and what I've been working with in October. Loving this. Totally speaks to me of my inner mausoleum again. The ghosts that are hiding, what wants to come forward but can't because it's going to be burnt by the sunlight. I think that's why the vampire deck spoke to me, because obviously the vampire needs to live in the darkness. Yeah, I don't know what else to say really. I've been I'm going to say that this has become one of the most important decks in my collection. Yeah, it has. It's become one of the most important decks. And obviously, you know, that happens in phases, doesn't it? You know, it depends what we're working with within our practice. But right now, this is just, it's just amazing. Amazing. Love this. Speaking to me of my fallen angel, my mausoleum. Oh, just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Now, I definitely spoke about this card in my October catch-up. This card is from this deck, which is the oh no, I'm totally forgetting it. The Wisdom of Strange Creatures, I think it's called. I put the name on the screen. Edged in grey. I'm working with this deck card for card, and I've been on this card for a long time. But I feel that this totally relates to this artwork and this shadow work and this inner mausoleum work, and really bringing forward this facet of self that needs to come into the light. Yeah. I don't know when I'll be moving on to these cards. And it's all good. I don't mind that at all. You know, it's taking the time it takes. I'm trying to really focus on the moment and not on the next step, because I'm a Sagittarian, and I want to be onto the next thing. And so working with this deck card for card, which I've never done before, has been really enlightening, actually. It really has. So who knows when I'll get to these cards? Maybe it'll be 2025. Maybe I'll still be working with this in 2026. I don't know, but I'm loving the journey. So yeah. So that's another deck that's been rocking my world, although it's really only the card that's been rocking my world this month. But what can I say? Should we talk about a new deck that I got in? Yeah, let's do that. So when this threshold epiphany struck home, I decided to purchase this deck. It's the Divine Doors by Andreas N. Gracia, I want to say the name is. Apologies if I've totally butchered that name. Apologies. Behind every door lies adventure, mystery and inspiration. These are very dinky cards. They've got like a picture of a door on the front. Kind of speaks for itself. I love this, this red, I want to say cloaked figure. This card has been stalking me quite a lot. And on the backs there are these short messages. But I love all these, like, this kind of speaks to me of my inner mausoleum again, and going through these doors and working within these three thresholds and this liminal space. I mean, it's just gorgeous. So I've been working with this and kind of pulling a card, whenever I need a very short message. So I've been really enjoying this one. I haven't really drawn as I've been drawing a lot, but I've been kind of getting the same card over and over again, which is really interesting. So I've had some stalker situations going on with these ones. Love all the doors. I think they're gorgeous. So that's the new deck that came in. Another deck that I've ordered, which is it's hopefully arriving tomorrow, is the Talisman Oracle. This month I felt really called to purchase the Memento Mori Oracle, but I didn't want to purchase an indie deck. It was so expensive. And then I kind of got this nudge about the Talisman Oracle. I'm going to pop a picture in here. And I'm going to say that this is the deck that's going to scratch the itch for the Memento Mori Oracle. I'm not saying it's anything like it. I don't know why I get that vibe, that they're very similar. I'm wondering if they're going to feel the same... what's the word? Feel the same... what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, come along now, Angel. Feel the same... Oh, I'll put the word on the screen. I'm totally sorry. My brain today. So yeah, so I'm not saying they're similar energies, but I kind of got the nudge that the Talisman Oracle is going to do the same job for me within my practice as the Memento Mori Oracle. Okay, let's get on to some other things that I got up to in October. So other things we got up to, me and my friend booked a weekend away, or a Saturday evening away. We had a girly evening at a lovely hotel, and we ate some gorgeous food. We drank some wine, had some quality time, had a good old chat, a good old chinwag, went out, had some cocktails, which was amazing. And just got away from the town we live in. It's nice to kind of see something different, isn't it? While we were out, we did some shopping. Shall I show you some bits and pieces that I got on my shopping trip? Why not? So the first thing I purchased was this. It's a slate tablet. Well, actually, it's a serving plate, I think. It's got these little, what's the word, tabs on. And I think this is actually like for serving sushi, or like for serving like tapas or something like that. But I was thinking this is going to be amazing for using sigil magic, drawing it in chalk, and then doing spell work on, is my thought. This was £3, brand new. Don't tend to buy things new, but I saw this and I was like, I need that in my practice. That's going to be like so useful. Following on with the mausoleum theme, I purchased this. I've had my eye on this for quite a while, and we went into the shop that sells, I've seen this previously. It's just black paper, or a black, I'm not going to say, well, almost like a sketchbook or a little journal, and you get white gel pens with it. And I was like, I've wanted this for a long time, haven't pulled the trigger on it. I'm going to purchase it now because I'm away, and it's a nice treat. And I'm thinking that I'm going to use this for my mausoleum work. In the darkness, the exploration, shining the light, illuminating what's going on in my mausoleum is my plan. One of the shops was giving away free candles. Free candles, yes please. So I got these as a freebie. What else did I purchase? I purchased some new paintbrushes, which wasn't overly exciting, but I did. I think that was pretty much it for all the new things. Secondhand finds? No, not particularly very many secondhand finds this month. Other things to tell you. Well, obviously it was Samhain, Halloween. Samhain, it means a lot to me. Halloween means a lot to me because I moved from England to the country I live in now on the 31st of October. So every 31st of October I do like a ritual, or it's almost like a reset. It's always felt, since moving 18 years ago, the past 18 years, it's always felt like a time for reflection. What have I accomplished within this year, and what am I looking forward to the next year? It was a bit different this year because I was working so intensely with this shadow work, and I felt that this was really relevant to how I want to improve my life going forward, and my path going forward. So I didn't feel guilty about not reflecting over what I want to achieve next year. I feel this is like I'm doing it. I'm on the path. I'm already trying to improve my personal growth with the work that I'm doing within the shadow work. Obviously, Samhain spoke a lot to me of ancestral veneration. I tend to do a ritual for my ancestors on the 31st. This month, or this year, the whole of October, I felt really called to add extra offerings to my ancestor altar. So there was, I purchased, what's the word, loose tobacco, some cigars that went onto my altar, ancestor altar, sorry. Sherry, I purchased sherry, which I put onto the altar every other day pretty much. Beer, I put that in as an offering. I added coffee. When I was drinking my morning coffee, I added a cup of coffee onto my ancestor altar pretty much every day in October. Obviously water, some dark chocolate, nuts, apples I also added. My friend was, they have an apple tree in their garden, and they were overrun with apples this year, and they asked me if I wanted some apples to, create some, I don't know, apple jam, or I don't know what you do with apples, cider possibly. And I was like, yeah, I can take one apple. And they were like, one apple? I was like, all right, then I'll take two. And they were like, no, you can take several. So they were just trying to, get rid of their apples. So all the apples that I got from my friend are now sitting on my ancestor altar, which felt more special because obviously they're from the area that I'm living in. They've been actually, homegrown. Yeah, and I also felt really cool to give offerings to my pets that have gone over the Rainbow Bridge. So I had also cat treats and even dog treats on my altar. I mentioned in my October video, the catch up that I did, a week ago or a week or two ago, that I've been having some really freaky, beaky dreams this October. One of which was I felt by my dog that I had when I was about 7 or 8 years old. And so after having that dream, I thought, I'm gonna add some offerings to my fluffy family members that have, that are no longer with us. Which was the first year that I've done that as well. And then obviously at Samhain, I did my ritual. I have a book with all my ancestors' names in it. This time I didn't do that ritual. This time I lit a candle, added some more offerings to the ancestor altar, and I spoke to all of my ancestors that I know the names of and that I don't know the names of, and I did like a little ritual around that instead. So yeah, that was that. Anything else I've got to tell you? I don't think so. I've been watching quite a lot of, scary movies in October, which I tend to do generally anyway, which usually goes hand in hand with the artwork that I'm creating. I like to watch a movie whilst I'm creating, and they do tend to be like scary movies. I've watched It 1 and 2. Love those films. Loved the underlying like message within the films. I don't have a big thing against clowns. So, I wasn't, scared about watching a clown movie. Although saying that, if a clown, was standing on my path when I was walking somewhere and I saw them, I would probably freak out. But, generally I don't feel any adversity to clowns. So that was, if you don't have an adversity to clowns, watch those films because they were really, really good. And Slasher I've been watching, which is a Netflix series, quite gruesome, but I do like a bit of gore. I can deal with gore much better than I can deal with some soppy love story. That's some more shadow work that I've got to delve into. But I've only got a certain amount of time in October, and now we're in November, and I'll put it on my list of shadow work things to work through, and I'll come back to it. So yeah, what say you? What have you been doing in October? Did you have any rituals that you completed or wanted to do in October or for Samhain? Let me know in the comment section. Do you honour your ancestors? Also, I'd love to know in the comment section. Let me know, what was your favourite deck that you worked with in October? Pop it in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm going to thank you so much for watching. Have a lovely morning, afternoon or evening, wherever you are. Take care, and I hope to see you in the next video. Toodaloo.